Hello everyone, we're going to do standard form today. It's our introduction to standard form. It's one of those topics that if you don't know what it is, you think, wow, I can't do that. Once you know what it is, it's pretty accessible, it's pretty easy. But there are some bits that you just need to take your time to write some notes, to have an understanding, to stick with it. If it doesn't make sense for a start, it will make sense by the end of the screencast. So let's have a look at what standard form is. Standard form is a way of writing down a very large or very small numbers easily. So just some information here. 10 to the power of 3 is the same as 1000. So 4 times 10 to the power of 3 or 4 times 1000 gives you 4000. This is key information when it comes to standard form. So we're looking at something rather large, we're making it smaller, or we're looking for something smaller and we're going to make it larger. Okay, we're going to go both ways. So some really important information, and you need to write this down as you see it on the screen. I'm going to bring the whole thing up, and then we're going to go through it. So this is the standard that we're going to write. So when we talk about standard form, it's going to be a number. Now we've got A there. Going to go over that in a second. Timesing by 10 to the power of something. A will be a number between 1, it can be equal to 1, but less than 10. So it could be a number like 9.9 or 1.3 or 2.8, but it will be a number that falls between 1 and it has to be less than 10. N will always be a number that's a whole number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It'll never be 1.3. It's going to be a whole number. So as we go through, this will stand us in good stead. So you would never have 65 times 10 to the power of 2. You'd have 6.5. So remember that number there, this one here, has to be less than 10. That is really, really key. And as we go through, you will understand as we go through. Make sure you write that down. I've left it up on this corner here to help you guys and girls out. So let's look at the positives. We're always going positively today. This is our introduction to standard form. Let's look at some very, very basic questions. We're going to write 60 in standard form. So the first thing is our first number needs to be replacing A, which needs to be between 1 and less than 10. So we're going to write this in standard form. It's going to be 6 times 10 to the power of something. So we just need to work out 6 timesing by 10, that gives us 60, doesn't it? So that's actually it in standard form. So what we would put in that little box is just a 1. Okay, don't worry, we're going to do quite a few of these and then I'm going to let you loose a little bit later on. That is standard form. It's as simple as that. So our answer is 6 times 10. That equals 60. It's the same value. We've taken 60, that's an ordinary number, and we've written it in standard form 6 times 10. Let's look at another one now, and I reckon there'll be another opportunity here for you to learn, and then you'll be away, I hope. So now this time we're going to write it as 7 times 10, but we're going to work out what the power is. So when we look at this one over here, the 6, how many zeros were there? Yeah? How many zeros were there? Well, there was 1. How many zeros are there over here? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So guess what number is going to go in that top? It's going to be 4. Now, the reason for that is because what we're doing is we're getting this, the point, can we see here? And we're moving it this many. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we take 7 and we times it by 10 to the power of 4, then in reality it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the reason why I say that is because sometimes when we get some more difficult questions, it's not as easy as just counting the zeros, but it's a great starting point to have an understanding. So 70,000 in standard form would be 7 times 10 to the power of 4. That's standard form. So now I want you guys to give these two a go. Give guys and girls. I always say guys. I just mean both guys and girls. I apologize. Anyway, here we go. So you give these a go. You pause the video. You come back when you think you've got it correct. Okay, so remember our starting point is going to be 5 timesing by 10. Yeah. And then we're going to work out what goes in there to the power of what. How many zeros are there, or how many times has it moved? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So it would be 10 to the power of 3. And I'd write that down, 5 times 10 to the power of 3. Our starting point for question number 2 would be 9 times 10 to the power of something. What do we think it's going to be? Remember, I'm taking it from here and I'm going to go this way. So it'd be timesing by 10 to the power of 2. Because 10 to the power of 2 is 10 times 10, which is 100. 9 times 100 gives us 900. Remember, 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. 5 times 1,000 gives us 5,000. So remember, my answer would be 9 times 10 to the power of 2. So now these ones, I'm going to help you with this first one, and then we're going to see how we go. Remembering that the number we work with has to be between 1 and less than 10. So it's going to be on this occasion 6.2. Timesing by 10 to the power of what? Now remembering, I'm taking 6.2 and I'm timesing it by 10. That will move the decimal place, or that will shift the numbers, but it's easier for us maths teachers to say move the decimal place. We're going to go 1. So that's what it's going to stay at, isn't it? Yeah? It's just going to be 6.2 timesing by 10 to the power of 1. So on the second question, we're going to do the same thing, aren't we? We're going to start with 5.5 timesing by 10. But what is it going to times by? I'm going to take 5.5 timesing by 10 to the power of something, but I've got to work out what that something is. And that's just like going, okay, how many times? 1, 2, 3. You can see if I count the zeros, I only get 2, but I've got to count 3 digits. Because I'm going to go from 5.5 to 5,500. So it's going to be 10 to the power of 3. 10 to the power of 3 is 1,000. 5.5 timesing by 1,000 gives us 5,500. Last set of questions before we move into the quiz. So give these two a go, come back and see if you've got them correct. So starting point is 7.9. It's timesing by 10 to the power of 4. The reason for that is, look, I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if we want to think about it, how many digits are there after the decimal place? There'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer would be 7.9 times 10 to the power of 4. On this one, my starting point is going to be 9.1. It's timesing by 10 to the power of 2 because, look, I've got 1, 2 numbers after decimal place. That's what I've got to get to, don't I? Because 9.1 timesing by 100 will give us 910. And there we go. Hopefully you've got those two correct. If you've got those two correct, then you know exactly what you're doing and you're going to find the quiz super, super easy. And that's what it's all about. Maths should be easy. It doesn't need to be difficult. There is one little curveball here. Hopefully you know what you're going to do. So anyway, pause the video here, give them all a go. Only come back when you've done them. If you're not confident, start the video again. I know that would be awful for some, but it's really important that you feel confident when you do these quiz questions. Anyway, pause the video, give it a go, come back and see if you've got it right. Here's the answers now. So little tip is that this is going to be 6. This is going to be 5.2. This is going to be 1.21. That's our starting point. Let's look at our answers. So it's going to be 6 timesing by 10 to the power of 4 because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be 5.2 timesing by 10 to the power of 3 because I've got 1, 2, 3. And this is 1.21 timesing by 10 to the power of 4 because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully that makes every bit of sense that needs to. Hopefully you've done incredibly well. Standard form is not difficult, but it is something that takes a little bit of time just to sink into people. So hopefully that's sunken into you already, but if it hasn't, then we're going to go over and over and over, and I'm there to support you. Remember, make sure you write a revision card. If you'd like an electronic copy of these cards, then get in contact with me via the comment section below. Until next time, it's always a pleasure helping you with your maths. Hopefully you feel really positive about it.